Hey everyone, welcome back to Alpha Insights. I'm Mark.
And I'm Brittany. Great to be with you. And hey, if you have questions while you're listening, drop them at stockalpha.ai.
Today we're digging into the market moves after the federal rescheduling of medical cannabis to Schedule 3, and why agencies and the street are already reacting.
Yeah, there's a lot here. From changes to government forms, to state sales, and even how teenagers view cannabis compared with alcohol and nicotine.
So, the real question here is, how much of this is signal versus noise for traders and operators?
Right. And the first concrete thing we saw was the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives circulating a draft update to the firearms transaction form to reflect the rescheduling.
That's the ATF tweaking the unlawful drug use question to explicitly mention marijuana. And it's an early example of agencies translating the rescheduling into day-to-day rules.
Which matters because agency-level adjustments can change compliance costs for businesses and create legal gray areas for consumers. And that can ripple into retail behavior. Exactly. On the demand side, Michigan reported April adult use sales at $258.17 million, a rebound from earlier this year.
I mean, when you look at the data, that's about a 15% lift from January. And part of April's bump is a 420 boost that did roughly $20.4 million at the point of sale.
That seasonal lift is real. But it's useful because steady-state monthly sales help analysts rethink near-term revenue for multi-state operators and retail-focused companies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's also an interesting social angle. A big California study using over 175,000 responses showed adolescents increasingly rate alcohol and nicotine as more harmful than cannabis.
The paper pulled from one sample of 160,222 respondents from 2019 to 2020, plus another sample of 14,922 in 2024, and found roughly 92.6% of the pool saw alcohol or nicotine as more harmful.
That's a huge shift in perception. And it's the kind of cultural change that, over time, can support normalization and demand as younger cohorts reach legal age.
Not to mention, it affects product mixes, public health narratives, and local regulation choices. Still, normalization doesn't erase state-by-state restrictions or tax regimes.
Totally. From a market watch perspective, keep an eye on agency guidance from the ATF and any commentary from the Department of Justice. Those could influence compliance costs and enforcement priorities.
And on the market side, watch state sales reports. California and Michigan are the big ones. Plus, company earnings, where management will start folding rescheduling impacts into guidance.
Also, monitor volume and price action in the major sector ETF and names people track. The Cannabis ETF, Trulieve, Green Thumb, Curaleaf, and Tilray for sentiment clues.
A good point. ETFs can move on macro or policy headlines, while individual operators react to local sales, margins, and regulatory detail. Divergence between them tells a story.
One quick practical takeaway: rescheduling lowers some federal hurdles over time, like certain banking and tax frictions, but it doesn't flip a switch. State laws and agency rules still matter.
Right. Short-term volatility could come from form changes and headlines, but lasting equity moves usually need clear regulatory rulings, earnings beats or misses, or sustained state sales trends.
Interesting.
So to wrap up, key things to watch: agency guidance from ATF and DOJ, monthly state sales, especially in big markets, and upcoming earnings or analyst updates that incorporate the rescheduling.
And remember the social angle. Shifting youth perceptions could support long-term demand, but regulation at the state and local level will shape the path forward.
Those are the big takeaways. Got questions? We'd love to hear from you. Head over to stockalpha.ai where you can ask us anything and we'll answer live.
And while you're there, check out more market content and drop your questions in the Q&A. Thanks for listening to Alpha Insights. See you next time.